I've got a Nikon NIkkor 1.8 Series E lens. This is referred to as a pancake lens because of how thin it is. And this is the last of the, I guess, lower priced 50mm that I have that I've been looking at. The other ones have been the Nikon F2 and an SC Auto 1.4. And I was looking at these three together because they're generally in the same price range. This lens you can find on eBay for $30 to $60 depending on how patient you are. The F2 is $40 to $50 for the non-AI lens, and you can convert that by removing the aperture and notching it out. I made a couple videos on that. As well as the 1.4 is also a non-AI lens, and I converted this one also, but I was wrong on the price on this one. This one, I mean, people are paying $100 for it. I just don't see that working out. So this lens was made after those two. It started production at maybe 79 or 80. I'm not too sure. I couldn't find a specific date, but it's got a 7-blade aperture. It weighs about 4.5 ounces, which is nice because that is actually less than a 1.8 G. If I hold them up, there's a noticeable difference in size. This is metal and this is plastic, so hard to go wrong with that. I really prefer metal lenses. They just feel so much better, even though they do way more. So beyond that, in terms of the quality of the lens, at 1.8 there's a little vignetting that you can see, not a huge deal. And it's not super sharp either. When you stop it down to f2, the 50mm f2 does a better job. It also does, the 50mm f2 also does a better job than the 1.4. The 1.4 I just did not like wide open. It had vignetting and it was soft. So the real beauty of this lens is how low profile it is. Look at the 750 here. You can, I mean, it's not much bigger than a lens cap, and it doesn't add a lot of weight. And even off of the camera, it's sized so that it could fit in a pocket, could always fit in a camera bag. It's just, it doesn't take up a lot of room, which makes it very easy to take it with you, which is the main reason I think I like this one more than the other two. And while I'm probably going to sell the other two and keep one of the two of these around, I have three. Yeah. And I'm getting rid of the other two because obviously I've got a 1.8 G, which has the autofocus. Not a huge fan of this lens. But I also have a Voigtlander 58 1.4 Nocton, so I'm never going to choose a different lens if I want optical quality over this one. So unless they have other things going to them, like the lightweight and the portability, which makes a big difference to me when I'm traveling. I don't want to carry around pounds and pounds of lenses that I'm not going to use. It just doesn't make sense, and there's other ones that I want to buy. So in that kind of regard, it's where the lens sits. I would say it's worth picking up if you can find fairly cheap. Be patient, looking on eBay, 30 bucks. Sometimes they go for a little less. I think it's a nice deal there. I'm not sure I would be willing to pay $60 for the lens. And if you're looking to purchase one of these lenses, one of the things to keep in mind is there are two different versions. The earlier version doesn't have this metal silver thing right here, and I believe that it has plastic on the body. I don't own one to check, but I would definitely suggest getting one that has the zebra pattern or whatever, so you know that it's all metal. So with that said, let's take a look at some test images. Here's the first test shot. This is at 1.8, and all of the test shots will be available on Flickr in high res. And right away I was focused on this leaf, and it's not very sharp looking pretty soft. If we look around the background, the bokeh looks fine. I don't see anything that I find distracting. At f2, if we zoom in 1:1, starting to get a little bit more detail, and things are looking better. but still not what I would call sharp. At f2.8, I think there's a definite improvement in sharpness, but I'm still expecting things to get a little better. As we stop down, here's f4, and starting to get some real good detail. f5.6, and from here on out it's about the same. f8, f11, f16, and if we take a look in the background, you can see the siding on the house back there. Things are looking pretty good. And f22, you know, starting to soften up. But if we look at the background, I mean, things are in focus everywhere. Here's a test of the bokeh. So an LED strand of orange lights on the left and some LEDs I wired up on the right. And there is a little distortion. They're not perfect little circles, but overall I think it's pretty nice. The color saturation works out pretty well. Definitely pretty happy with the lens. Thanks for watching. If you liked the review, click subscribe. There will be more reviews of vintage lenses coming up.